Hi, in this demonstration, we're going to talk about displaying the parts catalog in that table view that we have as a subview, or the root view controller of our navigation controller. So again, to review, in our storyboard, if we zoom out here, we can see that we have a navigation controller, which is part of our, or a view controller that's attached to our main view controller, which is the backing view controller of this tab bar controller. And then that navigation controller, its root view controller, is a table view. Now, in the table view itself, I have changed the style of this prototype cell to be a prototype cell with a style of subtitle. And this gives us some things. It gives us two labels, the title label and then a subtitle label. They're actually called title label and detail title. And it also will give us an image that we can display on the left-hand side of the cell. So this is very useful, and it's if we don't need to make a custom subclass of UI table view cell for our prototype, then we can just use one of the existing styles, and that's what we're doing here. Now, another thing I mentioned when we were specifically talking about the model is that the model will be, as we develop, will continually be tweaked. And I've added such a tweak in this demonstration. I've changed the parts catalog because I got to thinking about the concept of a part inventory and parts catalog. Parts catalog before was actually just bringing in a part number, and I was thinking, well, I can run back to the part class to get the information out of that. But since we're no longer really going to keep a strong reference to a part, there's really no need for this part class. The part catalog can then hold all of the information about a part, and then the inventory can just hold the part number and the current quantity. So the part catalog has been changed, and this is okay. We will continually iterate over our model and make changes. So the part catalog actually, instead of add part with a part number, we have changed that method to read add part with number, part number, name, description, bin, and reorder level. Now, we don't want a quantity here because quantity is really a creature of inventory, not a creature of the part information itself. And we've made some changes to the methods, and you can look at those at your leisure. But these are just a couple of little changes. The listing is still the same. I've changed the listing to be an NS-mutable dictionary instead of a NS-mutable set. But we have a dictionary of part numbers as keys, and then the array of name, description, bin, and the actual reorder quantity going in as the values for each part number in the listing. So the only things I've had to change in delete part were the changes in regard to the thing is now an NS-mutable dictionary rather than an NS-mutable set. Okay, so you can look at those changes and iron out for yourself what I've done here. But again, it's okay to reiterate the model, to make changes to the model as we go along. The important thing is to have a good, solid idea of what the model is going to accomplish in our application. And we've done that. So, remember, in parts list view controller, I have a symbolic constant defined main view controller. So I can use that to run back to my main view controller and get the information from the catalog to be displayed in our table view. So let's look at how that gets done. Remember, the first two methods that we need to deal with out of the table view delegate and data source and we can use the pragma to go look at that. The number of sections in table view, for now we're just going to have one section, one big long section in a table view. So we just want to see a listing of the parts that are in the catalog. So I'm returning one from that. The number of rows in section, since it's only one section, I don't have to use index row section and all of that. All I need to do is return the number of rows in the catalog. Well, remember we have the symbolic constant that downcasts self.navigationcontroller.tabbar controller to a main view controller type, and that's called main controller. So I can run and get the parts catalog. That's the getter being called here. And then with that, I can use .listing.count to get the number of elements in that NS Mutable Dictionary, the listing. Then in cell for row at index path, I need to, first of all, take the boilerplate code, which is getting a reusable cell with an identifier. And I've made sure in my storyboard that that prototype cell's identifier has been set, and it's set to cell. The default code gives us cell as the identifier. So that identifier right here has been changed to read cell. And then in my cell for row at index path method, this will bind to my prototype cell. So we're getting a dequeued cell from the array of cells there. Then I want to get the information that I'm going to put in for the text label and the detailed text label of that cell. So I need to first of all get the key out of the listing, and then I want to get the values array out of that listing for that key. Well, the key is going to be all keys from the listing. So listing all keys is going to return an array of NS string. And then I want the object at the index corresponding to the index path.row of that cell in the table view. And then the values is the array from the catalog listing. And I need to get just that entire array. Then I can set the text label to be the values listing out of that, and that will be the part number. And then the detail text label, I'm going to get the name. So let's make sure. These indices, index 0 and index 1 in our catalog, are the name and the description. Okay, so I could have gotten the part number by just looking at the keys. But right now I'm just going to print out in each cell the name in the title field and the description in the subtitle field. And then I return the cell. We'll go back there and see that. I return the cell, and there we go. That's how we get information from a dictionary and an array, that is the values of that dictionary, into a table view cell. The important thing here to remember to do, because it's easy to forget to do, is that whatever this string is, and in this case it's cell, that string must be put in as the prototype cell's identifier string here. Okay, so when we run, our table view should be populated with the items from our catalog. Now, how did these items get in here? It is populated. So we know we're getting back to the main view controller from the parts list controller, and that's fine. But these items actually I am hard coding into the main view controller. So let's look at where that's done. In view did load, I'm calling add part with number, name, description, bin, and reorder level for 3 different parts against the parts catalog. And I have maintained here an object of type parts catalog called lowercase parts catalog that I can call these on from the main view controller. I'm doing this in view did load. Now, the next step is going to be, in the next demonstration, we're going to be showing how to add parts in the actual application that we're developing. But for now, for testing purposes, I have just front-loaded 3 hard-coded parts into this parts catalog. Thank you very much.